Hello everyone, this is Lalit Singh from Jagran Public School, Lucknow, and welcome back to another new presentation of Class 10 Social Studies, that is Federalism. Here in this presentation, you will understand meaning of federalism, differences between federalism and unitary government. You will also learn about features and types of federalism, Indian federalism and its characteristics, why Indian federalism became so successful during these decades, and the expansion of democracy at grassroots level. Now let's begin with our very first topic, what is federalism? Federalism is a form of government in which the sovereign authority of political power is divided between the various units. These units are center and state. Therefore, it means that federalism is a system of government in which power has been divided between the center and its constituent parts such as states. Usually, federation has two levels of government. One is central government, which is responsible for a few subjects of common national interest. The other is state government, which looks after much of day-to-day administration of their states. Both these levels of government are cooperating and coordinating institutions, having independence and ought to exercise their respective powers with mutual adjustment, respect, understanding and accommodation. Now we will understand some key features of federal countries. In federal countries, people have dual citizenship. One is of central government and another is of their respective state. Different tier of government govern the same citizens, but each tier has its own jurisdiction in a specific matter of legislation, taxation and administration. Sources of revenue for each level of government is clearly specified. The fundamental provision of Constitution can be changed only with the mutual consent of both the levels of government. Tension and conflicts of the interest of the center and the respective units is an integral part of federalism. However, prevention of conflict is necessary. Thus, the courts have the power to interpret the constitution and power of different levels of government. The highest court acts as an umpire if disputes arise between different level of government in the exercise of their respective powers. From the above discussion, it is clear that the federal system has dual objectives. First is to safeguard and promote unity of the country, and the second is to accommodate regional diversity. Therefore, two aspects are crucial for the practice of federalism. Both the levels of government should agree to some rule of power sharing and ought to exercise their respective powers with mutual adjustment, respect, understanding and accommodation. Till now we have acquired the knowledge of federalism. Now it's time to understand the difference between federalism and unitary government. A federal government is one in which powers are divided between the national government and regional governments by the constitution, and both operate in their respective jurisdictions independently. A unitary state is a state governed as a single power in which the central government is ultimately supreme, and any units exercise only powers that the central government decides to delegate. Types of federation. The states enjoy certain level of autonomy depending on types of federation. There are two types of federation. The first is holding together federation. In this type of federation, the powers are shared among various states to accommodate the diversity present in society. Here the central government is more powerful than state government. For example, India, Spain and Belgium. And other is coming together federation. In this form, the independent states come together to form a bigger unit and to sacrifice some of their powers to be enjoyed by the central authority. Here, the state government is more powerful than central government. For example, USA and Australia. List of jurisdiction. In order to avoid conflict in between union government and state government, the jurisdiction is clearly specified by constitution. This includes union list. Union list includes subject of national importance such as defense, foreign affairs, banking, communication and currency. They are included in this list because we need a uniform policy on these matters throughout the country. The union government alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the union list. Second is the state list. State list contains subject of state and local importance such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. The state government alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the state list. Third is the concurrent list. It includes subject of common interest to both the union government as well as the state governments such as education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption and succession. Both of the union and state government can make laws on subjects mentioned in this list. If their laws conflict with each other, the law made by the union government will prevail. Reasons for success of Indian Federation. The Indian Federation is very successful due to following reasons. By creating linguistic state, diversity was accommodated and administration was made easier. No language is recognized as national language by the constitution. The center and state relation had been improved from time to time. Growth of regional political parties provided solid foundation for Indian Federation. Expansion of democracy at grassroots level strengthened democratic decentralization. Formation of linguistic state. The creation of linguistic states were the first and major test for democratic policies in our country. This was done to ensure that people who spoke the same language lived in same state. New states were created on following basis: on the basis of culture, ethnicity or geography. For example, Nagaland, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand. The states were also created on the basis of language. For example, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and many other. Language policy. A second test for Indian Federation is the language policy. Our constitution did not recognize any language as national language. Hindi was identified as the official language, but Hindi is the mother tongue of only about 40% of Indians. Therefore, there were many safeguards to protect other languages. Besides Hindi, there are 21 other languages recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. Hindi was not imposed on non-Hindi areas for most of the period after the independence. The use of English as official language was stopped in 1965, but opposition from the non-Hindi speaking states, the central government was forced to withdraw the proposal and English along with Hindi continue for official purposes. Center-state relation. Restructuring the center-state relation is one more way in which federalism has been strengthened in practice. This can be studied in two phases. The first phase is before 1990. For a major period after independence, same party was in power in both center and states in most parts of the country. During these years, one party, that is Congress, ruled over both the center and most parts of the state. The central government in India has the power to dissolve the state government on grounds of inefficiency and impose the president's rule in the state. The central government often misused the constitution to dismiss the state government that were controlled by rival parties. The second phase in center-state relation began after 1990. That was the era of coalition government at the center. The major national parties had to enter into alliance with many regional parties for forming the government. This initiated a new culture of power sharing and respect for the autonomy of state government. There are two coalition parties in India. The first is UPA, that is United Progressive Alliance, led by Congress, and other parties are RJD, NCP, SP, BSP. The second is NDA, National Democratic Alliance, led by BJP. Other parties are JDU, Shiv Sena, Akali Dal. Decentralization in India emphasizes on the decentralization of power. It means power is taken away from central and state government and given to local government. For example, in India, the Panchayat Raj system acts as the greatest idea of decentralization. India is the second largest country in the world in terms of population. It comprises multicultural, multilingual, multireligious, multi-ethnic people. Due to this vastness of state in size and population, presence of diversity, need for power sharing paved the way for decentralization in India. The concept of Panchayat Raj is also called as grassroots level of democracy, which was suggested by the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi. According to him, it brings transparency and accountability in the governance of the country. Decentralization solves large number of problems at local level. It is believed that the people understand problems of their locality better than any other leader. Therefore, they can also use the resources better for development. The 73rd and 74th Amendment Act of Constitution of India added the Panchayat Raj system in rural and municipality system in urban areas of country. The very important feature of decentralization is to hold election regularly for local bodies. The purpose is to restore greater power at the local level. Other features include reservation for SC, ST and OBC, and one-third of all seats are reserved for women. State Election Commission got responsibility of conducting election for Panchayat Raj. The nature of power sharing varies from state to state. Rural local government is popularly called by Panchayat Raj. Each village or a group of villages in some states has a Gram Panchayat. This is council consisting of several ward members, often called Panch. The president of the Panchayat is called Sarpanch. Members of a Panchayat are directly elected by all the adults who are living in a Panchayat. A few Gram Panchayats are grouped together to form what is usually called a Panchayat Samiti. The members of this representative body are elected by all the Panchayat members in that area. All the Panchayat Samiti or Mandals in a district together constitute Jila Parishad. Most members of the Jila Parishad are elected by people. Members of the Lok Sabha and MLAs of that district, some other officials of other district level bodies are also its members. Jila Parishad chairman is the political head of the Jila Parishad. Similarly, local government bodies exist for urban areas as well. Municipalities are set up in towns. Big cities are constituted into municipal corporations. Both municipalities and municipal corporations are controlled by elected bodies consisting of people's representatives. Municipal chairperson is the political head of the municipality. In a municipal corporations, such head is called the mayor. Thank you.